Hello, and welcome to this Eating and Feeding Difficulties Parent Workshop. My name is Emma Janes, and I'm a clinical psychologist based at the Children and Young People's Eating Disorders team in Northamptonshire. This video focuses on providing parents and carers with a range of different strategies to support children with restricted diets. The strategies are targeted to support children between the ages of 5 to 12 years old, however some may be applicable for older children too. Mealtime routines. It can be helpful to consider mealtime routines when supporting children and young people with restricted diets. For some young people, mealtimes and snack times need to happen roughly at the same time every day. Ideally, your child will be working towards having 3 meals and 3 snacks a day, roughly every 2 hours apart. However, we recognise this may not work for all, so an alternative may be offering 6 smaller meals throughout the day. The key thing here is to try and move away from general grazing, as this can impact a child's ability to recognise feelings of hunger and fullness, what is also known as interoception. Establishing a routine can help train the body to feel hunger and thirst and create an internal prompt to eat and drink throughout the day. Another thing to consider is what meal times are like at home. Does your child have any additional neurodevelopmental needs which impact on their ability to tolerate loud and noisy environments? Therefore, is there anything that can be changed to support a calmer and quieter environment during mealtime? Ideally, some meals throughout the week could be planned together, as this help takes the focus and attention off your young person so that they feel less pressure when eating. Another thing to consider is how long mealtimes last for. Ideally, a mealtime should not last for more than 30 minutes. We recognise that this may be quite unsettling for some parents, especially if your child has a restricted diet and requires distraction or eats slowly. If meal times are much longer than 30 minutes, try and gradually reduce the time, explaining to your child that they need to focus on eating their safe foods and reduce as much distraction as possible. Scheduling things in for after meal times is a good way of structuring. However, we also recognise that distraction can play a key part to supporting mealtime routines. It can also be helpful to talk about food during mealtimes, encouraging your child to be curious about food and describe what they like about their safe foods, the smell and the taste of their food. Though we do recognise this may not work for all. Kitchen open and kitchen closed. This technique is helpful for children who tend to snack little and often throughout the day. Ideally, we want children to have a routine of 3 meals and 3 snacks. This can be quite anxiety-inducing for parents, as I'm sure you will all want your child to eat as much as possible, no matter what time or when. However, little and often affects your child's feelings of satiety, i.e. fullness, and prohibits them from eating larger meals. In principle, the idea here is to set times for the kitchen being open and when it is closed. It's important that this applies to everyone living in the house. You could involve the younger children or any other siblings to make a sign for the kitchen door. Having a physical sign can provide a visual reference for when it is appropriate to eat and when it is time to let those feelings of hunger develop. When implementing this strategy, there may be a difficult period of transition. Your child may become upset after the few days of implementing it. However, children can adapt and do adapt to this process. It's important to acknowledge that this is a change for your young person and to work with them to structure distraction or other activities around meal and snack times. Relaxation strategies. I will now talk through some relaxation strategies you can try with your child. You can do these before or after meals as a way of managing any anxiety or stress. The first one is sleepy starfish. What you want to do is lie down on your back with your legs and arms apart. Stay very still and imagine you are a sleepy starfish resting at the bottom of the ocean. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax your arms. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax your legs. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax your head. See how still you can be at the bottom of the ocean, resting like a sleepy starfish. Repeat to yourself, I am silent, I am silent, I am a sleepy starfish. Another strategy is squeeze and relax. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, squeeze all the muscles in your body. Now breathe out and relax all the muscles in your body. You can repeat this 2 or 3 times. Bubble breaths. Imagine you are blowing bubbles of peace or happiness or love into the room. Take in a breath and imagine you have a pot of bubble liquid. Slowly and gently blow bubbles into the room. As you blow out the bubbles, imagine they are filled with peace and the room is filling up with peace. The big balloon. Close your eyes and be very still and imagine that you are holding a big balloon. It's very light and feels very smooth. The balloon is in your favourite colour. Now hold the bottom of your balloon and feel the balloon gently rise into the sky. Each time you breathe in and out, you gently glide further and further into a warm summer sky. The deeper your breath is, the further you can travel. Enjoy this feeling of weightlessness. Enjoy the feeling of being completely free. Your body feels weightless and free, and your mind feels totally free. Elastic band. Close your eyes, be very still, and imagine your body is a piece of elastic. Just relax and start with enjoying being a floppy piece of elastic. Allow your legs to be floppy and relaxed. Let your arms be floppy and relaxed. Let your stomach be floppy and relaxed. And finally, let your neck and head be floppy and relaxed. Now, very slowly, imagine someone is gently tugging your head and someone else is pulling at your feet. And the elastic is becoming tighter and tighter. Your muscles are becoming tauter. Your whole body is getting longer and longer. Enjoy this wonderful stretching experience as feeling you are growing longer and longer. Then, ping! Let all the muscles in your body relax as the elastic band is released. Relax back to being floppy and bendy. Enjoy this wonderful feeling of being totally relaxed and floppy. Support with unhelpful thoughts. This is a technique that is typically used for older children, as they are more able to recognise thought processes and reflect on these. We've learnt that general reassurance is not as helpful as we may think. This is because your young person may be basing their current feelings off past experiences that actually happened to them and proved to them that they weren't fine at that point in time. Therefore, it can be helpful to work towards identifying coping statements or a more balanced alternative with your child as a way of managing and tackling anxiety around eating. They will then be in a better position to work towards eating the food and realise that their feared consequence doesn't actually happen. Let's work through an example together now. Your child may tell you they have a thought that this food may make me sick. The evidence for this thought is that they've been sick before, and this is a fact. The evidence against this thought is that other people are eating the food and they aren't being sick. The challenge for this thought is that it is unlikely I will be sick. So, the balanced alternative or coping statement could be, I can spit the food out if I don't like it, but it might be nice to try something. And I could use a bin or tissue. Remember, it's about identifying a balanced way of thinking, not a more positive one. You may have to work through this a few times before your young person is able to eat the food. Remember, you're asking your child to face the thing that they fear, and it can take time and needs to be done in a gradual and phased way. Thank you for watching this video. You can find more resources and videos for eating and feeding difficulties on the iDiscover page.